मोल कॉन्सेप्ट एंड स्टोइकियोमेट्री। सो कितने बच्चों को ये लेसन पसंद आता है? आई एम श्योर 90% बच्चे ये बोलेंगे मैम बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है। सो डजेंट मैटर, बच्चा पार्टी करना तो हमें है ही है, बिकॉज लेसन तो हमारे करिकुलम में है और करना ही है। देन व्हाई नॉट डू इट टू द बेस्ट ऑफ आवर एबिलिटी? सो हियर आई एम with you solving certain questions on mole concept and stoichiometry which I have compiled for you. So they are interesting questions, but इनको करने के लिए ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हमारे theoretical concepts clear हों, और अगर नहीं clear हैं so please go back to the previous videos, revise your concepts and you will be able to crack these questions just like that. So without wasting any more time, welcome to Science Arena. I am Monica. We are going to start with our first question for today. So concepts को पूरी तरीके से समझना है तो बहुत बेसिक से शुरू करना होगा। तो ये रहा आपके लिए बहुत बेसिक क्वेश्चन जिसे आप करने वाले हैं बड़े आराम से सॉल्व। So let us work through the first question of ours. We have to find out the percentage of oxygen in ammonium nitrate. करना क्या है परसेंटेज ऑक्सीजन निकालने के लिए? वेल वी हैव टू फाइंड द रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास ऑफ अमोनियम नाइट्रेट। सो निकालते हैं रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास ऑफ NH4NO3। अगर फॉर्मूला ही नहीं आएगा तो मास ही नहीं निकलेगा, राइट? सो हाउ मेनी नाइट्रोजन डू वी हैव? 2। एंड व्हाट इज द मास ऑफ नाइट्रोजन? एटम इज 14, so 2 into 14 plus we have 4 hydrogens, so 1 into 4. We have 3 oxygens, so 3 into 16. Let us add it up. 14 2s are 28 plus 4 plus 48. 8 plus 8 16 and 4 20 0 2. So we have 80. U is the relative molecular mass. We can write it as gram molecular mass being 80 grams. And so what is the percentage of oxygen here? Equal to 48 out of 80 into 100. 6 stanza is 60% oxygen in ammonium nitrate. That's it. आगे बढ़ जाते हैं अब हम। In our next question here, we already have a balanced equation. So this certainly is going to make our life simpler. So what exactly are we going to do in this particular question? Now I have been given an equation for the production of oxygen here. So oxygen is being evolved when KClO3 is being heated in the presence of MnO2, which is the catalyst here. And the given equation से हमें निकालना है how many grams of KClO3 would be producing 5.6 liters of oxygen at STP. So the first आगे के questions first part के बाद हम देखते हैं। So moving on to our first part, we will need some space. So let me minimize this part. So what do we have here? So we have 2 KClO3 producing 2 KCl plus 3O2. मतलब क्या हुआ? That 2 moles of KClO3 is producing 3 moles of oxygen. Now it's a relationship between mass in grams and volume of oxygen in liters. So this is exactly what we are going to look at here. So what do we have here? Mass of KClO3 निकाल लेते हैं. So 2 moles of KClO3 is how many grams? So 2 into, if you look at this, potassium is 39, chlorine is given as 35, 16 3s is 48, which is going to give us 2 into, how much do I have? 8 and 5 13 and I 22 2, and we have a 2 here, 4 5 6 and 6 12. That means 244 grams. So 2 moles of KClO3 is nothing but 244 grams. So the gram molecular mass of KClO3 is how much? 244 grams. And 3 volumes of oxygen, 3 moles of oxygen will be how many volumes, how many liters? So 3 moles of oxygen is equal to 3 into 22.4 liters of oxygen, isn't it? So what do I do with this information? Well, this is going to help me do my calculations. Let's see how. हमें निकालना है how many grams of how many grams of KClO3 will be required for producing 5.6 liters? निकालना ये हमें. So let us work through this. So the fact is 2, alright, we have how many moles of oxygen did we, 3 into 22.4 liters of oxygen is produced from how many grams of KClO3? We have 244 grams. From 244 grams of KClO3. So what? So 5.6 liters of oxygen is produced from, करना क्या है? Simple unitary method. 244 divided by 3 into 22.4 into 5.6. बस अब यूनिटरी मेथड से इसको करना है सॉल्व. सिंप्लीफाई कर लेते हैं. डेसिमल चला गया. सो व्हाट डू आई हैव हियर? 7 5 47. सो व्हाट डू आई हैव? 7 6. So 2 2s are 4, 2 8s are 2 1s are 2 1s are 2 2s are 7 4s are 7 is a 7 7 6 are. अरे वाह, नंबर तो बड़ा अच्छा आ गया. 4 6 are 24, 4 1s are. So I have a 61/3. So I am getting a value equal to 61/3, which is 320.33 grams of what? What did we require? Grams of KClO3. So many grams of KClO3 has been producing 5.6 liters of oxygen there. So this was the required answer for the first part. Now let us try doing the second part. What do they want here? Calculate the number of moles present in 5.6 liters. So the number of moles present in 5.6 liters of oxygen at STP. So basically our question is how many moles in 5.6 liters of oxygen? It's as simple as that. So I need to erase things here. Let's check this out. So the part 2 is how many moles in 5.6 liters of oxygen? We know that 22.4 liters of oxygen is nothing but 1 mole. So 5.6 liters of oxygen will be how many moles? Unitary method again, right? Unitary method आती हो तो फिर तो ये सारे क्वेश्चंस फटाफट से हो जाएंगे. सो इट इज 1/4 which is 0.25 moles. It was as simple as this. Looking at the third part now, the third part has no relation with the rest of the question, but yes, because it is a part of the question, we'll solve it. Let's see. What do we have to find here? Calculate the volume occupied by 0.01 mole of CO2 at STP. Alright, so let us work through this part as well. How many moles of CO2 do we have? We have 0.01 moles, okay? So 1 mole of any gas occupies 22.4 liters, isn't it? So 0.01 moles of CO2 is nothing but occupying how much by volume? 22.4 into a 0.01, which is how much? I have 0.224 liters of CO2. अब इसमें तो कुछ था ही नहीं, right? अगला क्वेश्चन बढ़ते हैं. Here we have copper reacting with nitric acid to produce copper nitrate, nitrogen dioxide and water. Now it's a balanced equation. So let us see what exactly we are going to find out here. What mass of copper nitrate? So basically what mass of copper nitrate will be produced from 32 grams of copper? This is what we have to find out. So use करते हैं the given equation and see 1 mole of copper producing 1 mole of copper nitrate means what? Let's see. So we have, what is copper's mass here? 64. So I can say that 64 grams of copper produces how many grams of copper nitrate? Well, we'll have to calculate the molecular mass of copper nitrate in grams. So, how many grams would that be? 64 plus how many nitrogen atoms do we have? 14 2s are 28 plus we have 6 atoms of oxygen here. So, 16 6s are 96. So, that gives me a mass of how much? 6 and 4 10 and 8 18 8 1 10 and so 188 produces 188 grams of what? Copper nitrate. Alright. Correct? So what? I have to find out how many grams of copper nitrate would be produced from 32 grams. So 32 grams of copper produces unitary method. Back to unitary method. 188 divided by 64 into 32, which is 94. So 94 grams of copper nitrate. भाई ये तो बड़े आराम से क्वेश्चंस हो रहे हैं, right? अब let us look at the second part of the question. What volume of nitrogen dioxide gas? So we are looking at what volume of nitrogen dioxide gas will be produced at STP when 2 moles of copper nitrate. So when this is 2 moles of copper nitrate is being produced. So how many in liters of NO2 is being produced? So going back to our original equation, just take a look at this particular equation. If you see here, we know that 1 mole of copper nitrate was produced when the produced NO2 was 2 moles. That means दोनों के बीच का ratio 1:2 है. So 1 mole of copper nitrate and 2 moles of NO2 being produced. So if 2 moles of copper nitrate has been produced, in that case 4 moles. So if this is 2 moles, this will become 4 moles of NO2, right? So this is the idea which we are going to apply here. So 1 mole of copper nitrate when produced is accompanied by 2 moles of NO2 produced. Right? So this was our second part. Let me number it. Therefore, when 2 moles of copper nitrate was produced, 4 moles of NO2 was liberated. Right? इसे मैं हटा देती हूँ. So what would happen to that? That means मुझे वॉल्यूम निकालना है for 4 moles of NO2. So what is 4 moles of NO2? 4 moles of NO2 is equal to 4 into 22.4 liters, which is 4 4s are 16, 6 1, 4 2s are 8 and 1 9, 9, 4 2s are 89.6 liters of NO2. That's it. Right? बस लिखने में जितना टाइम लग गया. Now coming to the last part, how many atoms of copper will react with 4 moles of nitric acid? So we have to find out how many atoms of copper will react with 4 moles of nitric acid. This is already 4 moles. So ideally speaking, how many atoms in 1 mole of copper, because 1 mole of copper was reacting with 4 moles of nitric acid. My question is, how many atoms of copper will react with 4 moles of nitric acid? Well, 1 mole of copper reacts with 1 mole of nitric acid, implying what? 1 mole of copper is how much? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of copper reacts with, sorry, this was not 1 mole, 4 moles, I'm sorry. So 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms of copper react with 4 moles of HNO3. That's it. We have got all the 3 parts here and we are proceeding further to our next question. Now this is an interesting question. So here LPG stands for liquefied petroleum gas. Varieties of LPG are marketed including a mixture of propane and butane, propane being 60% in the given mixture and butane being 40% of the mixture. If 10 liters of its mixture is burnt, find the total volume of CO2 gas added to the atmosphere. So I have my equations given to me here. अब इस क्वेश्चन को कैसे करें हम? So beginning with, now this is what? This is propane, and what about this? This is butane. Now I have propane, which is how much? 60%, and butane is how much? 40%. So if I look at the ratio between propane and butane, so I can very well see that propane is to butane is equal to 60 is to 40, which is how much? 3 is to 2, isn't it? So out of the 10 liter of mixture which is given to me, how much of propane and how much of butane? Therefore, in 10 liters of the mixture, how much is the propane? Propane is equal to, so 3 out of the 5 into 10 liters, which is 6 liters of propane. So very naturally, butane is equal to 4 liters. Correct? So I have 6 liters of propane and I have 4 liters of butane. Now what? Going back to the question, what exactly have I to find out here? We have to find out the total volume of CO2 liberated. The fact is, propane also liberates CO2 on combustion and butane also is liberating CO2 on combustion. We have to find out how much of CO2 being liberated by both these gases in the 10 liter mixture. So we are going to basically calculate the volume of CO2 liberated. Let's start our calculations here. So if you look at the balanced equation, we can see that 1 volume of propane, let me write down C3H8, produces 3 volumes of CO2, right? It produces 3 volumes of CO2. Therefore, when I have how many liters of propane? 6 liters. Therefore, 6 liters of propane produces 3 into 6, which is 18 liters of CO2. Similarly, I can also calculate the volume of CO2 liberated by 2 volumes of butane. So, 2 volumes of butane produces how many? 8 volumes of CO2. Therefore, how many liters of butane did we have? We had 4 liters of butane. Therefore, 4 liters of butane produces 8 by 2 into 4, which is 16 liters of CO2. So basically, these two gases in the mixture have liberated how many volumes of CO2 into the atmosphere? Therefore, total volume of CO2 liberated by the mixture, by the 10 liter mixture, is equal to, so you have 18 liters here and a 16 liters here. So 18 plus 16, which is 4 and 34 liters of CO2. And that is my answer. So was this difficult? Well, it was not, right? So are we ready to move to the next question? So let us begin solving the next question. Here we have a very typical question which has a very typical approach. Meaning, well, it requires a table which you need to exactly follow. Alright, so let us see how we can work through a question like this. Here what we have is, we have a compound which has the following percentage composition. So we have zinc, sulfur, oxygen and hydrogen. Iska percentage composition has been given to you. And what are we supposed to find out? We have to find out the molecular formula given that the relative molecular mass is 278 gram. Alright, it also goes on to say that the compound has the presence of oxygen and hydrogen in combination to produce, probably existing as water molecule. So it has a water of crystallization as well. Let us see how we can draw this. So you need a typical table for this. Let us first see what are the percentage compositions here. So okay, beginning with zinc. So zinc is how much? 22.65%. And we have sulfur, which is 11.15%. Oxygen is 61.32%. And finally we have hydrogen, which is 4.88%. We also know the masses of these different atoms here. So zinc is 65, sulfur is 32, oxygen is 16 and hydrogen is 1, of course. Alright, so I need a table which looks something like this. Alright, so let us first write down these details and then I'll enlarge this table for you. You can just look at this table. You need to follow the format exactly. So we have zinc, we have sulfur, we have oxygen and we have hydrogen. The percentages are, okay, 22.65. We have 11.15% of sulfur, 61.32% of oxygen and finally 4.88 of hydrogen. The masses also need to be filled here. So we have 65 for zinc, sulfur is 32, oxygen is 16, hydrogen is 1. Well, here are the details which I have already penned down in my table. The format has the given the element on top with the atomic mass of the given element, their percentages available, and what are we supposed to calculate? We are going to calculate the relative number of moles. Now, how do we calculate this? So, basically for the calculation of this, what we do is the percentage of the element divided by its atomic mass. So, that means what I am looking for is 22.65 divided by 65 for this. And how much do I get here? 11.15 divided by 32 or 61.32 divided by 16, 4.88 divided by 1. Alright. So when you calculate this, of course you need to do the required calculations. Now this the first one, that means I am talking about zinc, Okay. Zinc approximately happens to be equal to how much? So I would get 22.65 divided by 65. This should be 6 threes, 5 threes are 15, 5 1, 195. So I'll get a 1 3. All right. So I have around 0.35. all right, so this is approximately 0.35. This should be 11.15 divided by 32. So I should get how much? 96 5, and I have a 15. So this should also be around 0.35. Okay, the calculation here, 61.32 divided by 16. 16, 48, 16. So I get how much? 11, 8, 3. And this is a 5 minus 4 is a 1. So I get so I'll get approximately 4. Okay, so 3.9 something. This should be a 4.88. Of course remains as it is. Now the next step is I have to basically, now these are not whole numbers. Now to find the simplest mole ratio, I have to basically divide each of these relative number of moles by the smallest of these numbers. That means smallest of these 4 numbers being 0.35. So I will divide each one of these by a 0.35. So 0.35 divided by 0.35 will give me a 1. And similarly here 0.35 divided by 0.35 fetches me a 1 again. Okay, now what about the oxygen here? Okay, for the rest I have taken a 2-digit post decimal. So let me also take this as 2 places after the decimal. So what do I get here? 3.83 divided by 0.35, and that gives me how much? So it is a 383 divided by 35, 1, and I get alright. So it will come something like, if I try to find it out, so this would be a 1, this would be a 1, this would be 11. When I round it off, this would be 11, and finally I have a 4.88 divided by 0.35, and that gives me 488 divided by 35, 1s are 35, and that gives me how much? 4 3s. So rounded off to 14. So because it's a whole number ratio between the atoms, so I'll have to make it sure that I round them off to the nearest whole number. Now these are the number of atoms of each of these elements which has been given to me. Now what do I do with these numbers? Well, this will help us get the empirical formula of this compound. So how do I write my empirical formula here? So let's write down our empirical formula. Is equal to what? Or is. So I have how many atoms of zinc? Well, I have 1 atom of zinc. How many atoms of sulfur? 1. So I would just write as. And how many atoms of oxygen? Well, I have 11. And finally, I have 14 atoms of hydrogen. So now this is what is my empirical formula. Now from this empirical formula, I can calculate my empirical formula mass. So what is my empirical formula mass going to look like? Zinc is 65, sulfur is 32, oxygen is 11 into 16. Well, I have to calculate this. and finally 14 into 1, which is 14. Now when I sum this up, okay, I have a 65 plus 32 plus 16 1 the 16 6 1 16 1 76 plus 14. Now add them all up. So I have 6 and 4 10 10 and 7 17 7 1 7 8 9 3 12 12 and 6 sorry. So I have 7 8 9 9 and 3 12 12 and 6 18 8 1. So 287 is the empirical formula mass for this particular compound. Now what is given to me here is the relative molecular mass. Relative molecular mass of the compound has been given to me in the question. Well, there is a correction which this question requires. There is a typo error here. So this number is not 278 but it is a 287 grams. Alright, so we very clearly happen to have the empirical formula mass and the relative formula mass, relative molecular mass becoming equal. So what and how does this help? I can find out n. What is n? N is the number of times you will have to multiply the empirical formula to get your molecular formula. And how do you calculate this n? Well, it is relative molecular mass divided by the empirical formula mass, and the value happens to be 287 by 287 is 1. That means my empirical formula is the same as my molecular formula. So my molecular formula for the compound is what? It is Zn SO11 H14. Now when I am writing the molecular formula which has water crystallization, what does this compound look like? So how do I exactly write my molecular formula? So this very clearly is a zinc sulfate dot how many H2Os? 7 H2O. Now check this out. 7 2s are 14 atoms of hydrogen, 7 atoms of oxygen, 7 plus 4, 11 atoms of oxygen. Zinc of course is 1, sulfur of course is 1. So my molecular formula is ZnSO4 7H2O, and this was a lot of working required here. The calculations are the unpleasant part of the question, but it is a very mechanical kind of a question and very easy to score, right? So now let us take up our next question. Commercial sodium hydroxide weighing 30 gram has some sodium chloride in it. So sodium hydroxide has sodium chloride in it. The mixture on dissolving in water and subsequent treatment with excess of silver nitrate solution formed a precipitate. The precipitate weighs 14.3 gram. What is the percentage of sodium chloride in the commercial sample of sodium hydroxide? Well, equation हमें दी हुई है. So sodium chloride plus silver nitrate gives sodium chloride. So this is the precipitate which we are talking about, and NaNO3 is produced. Well, we have another advantage here. We have the molecular masses of sodium chloride and silver chloride given to us. Beginning by writing the equation here. So we have sodium chloride reacting with silver nitrate, producing silver chloride as the precipitate along with sodium nitrate. So what do we have here? The fact is, given the relative molecular masses of sodium chloride and silver chloride, we can say that from the equation 58 gram of this sodium chloride is producing 143 gram of silver chloride precipitate. And how much silver chloride has been precipitated according to the question? Well, we only have a 14.3 gram. So what do I have here? So 143 gram of AgCl is precipitated from, so too much of shortcut here, precipitated from 50 58 gram of NaCl. So 1 gram of silver chloride is precipitated from 58 by 143 gram of sodium chloride. So in order to precipitate 14.3 gram of the given precipitate is precipitated from 58 by 143 into 14.3. So this 14.3 can be written as 143 by 10, and I have 58 by 10, which is 5.8 gram of NaCl. So if I know that the sodium chloride is a 5.8 gram, can I find out the percentage of sodium chloride in the given sample of sodium hydroxide? Well, I can. Let's see how. Let's shift this a little here. So I am going to find out the percentage of NaCl in the given sample of NaOH. So let us do that. So I have, what is the molecular mass of NaOH? So relative molecular mass of NaOH is how much? Sodium is 23, oxygen is 16, and hydrogen is 1. So well, I get a value equal to 30 grams. So molecular mass in grams is 30 gram for NaOH. And out of this 30 gram of NaOH, how much do I have? How much of sodium chloride do I have? Well, I have 5.8 grams of sodium chloride. So how can I find out my percentage of NaCl? Therefore, percentage of NaCl in commercial NaOH sample is 5.8 out of the 30 into 100. So what do I get? So I have a 58 by 3. So 3 ones are 3 and 3 nines are 27, 19.33%. I hope I've calculated it right. Yes. So this is the percentage of sodium chloride in the sample of sodium hydroxide solution. Here we have propane being burnt. So propane being burnt produces carbon dioxide and water vapor. The equation has been given to us. The question is, what volume of propane is consumed on using 1000 centimeter cube of air? So the air consumed is 1000 centimeter cube. So when we are talking about air, air has oxygen. And how much of oxygen is present in this air? 20% of the air is oxygen. So ideally speaking, if 20% of the air is oxygen, I am supposed to find out how much of propane has been consumed. So if we look at this equation of propane burnt by 5 volumes of oxygen as compared to 1 volume of propane being burnt. So we have 1 volume of propane burnt by 5 volumes of oxygen. So that's the relation according to Gale-Lussac's law. Okay, that means when 1 volume of oxygen, when 1 volume of propane would be oxidized, the consumption of oxygen is 5 volumes of oxygen. So if we are talking about this, the amount of air which has been provided to us is 1000 centimeter cube. So what exactly, how much exactly are we talking about in terms of oxygen present? So since 20% of air, so oxygen in 1000 centimeter cube of air would be how much? Is 20 by 100 into 1000. That means I have 200 centimeter cube of oxygen. Now that means I have to find out how much of propane would be burnt when I have 200 centimeter cube of oxygen. So how much in centimeter cube of propane has been burnt here? So that's my question. So how do I calculate that part? So if for 5 volumes of oxygen, oxidizes or burns 1 volume of propane. Let me write this here. 1 volume of propane. Therefore, 200 centimeter cube of oxygen burns 1 by 5 into 200, which is 40 centimeter cube of propane has been oxidized here. So that's the answer to the first part. Now the second part of the question is very different. So it's a completely different question, no way related to A. So the mass of 11.2 liters of a certain gas at STP is 24 gram. Find the gram molecular mass of the gas. अब ये तो बड़ा simple है, right? अब इसे कैसे निकालना है हमें? Let's check this out. So we know that 1 mole of a gas is 22.4 liters. And 1 mole of a gas is also equivalent to relative molecular mass of that substance. So if I have 11.2 liters of a gas, so that means 11.2 liters of the gas has a mass of 24 gram. So what if I am talking about 1 mole in terms of volume and 1 mole of the gas in terms of its mass? So 1 mole of the gas would be 22.4 liters of the gas, which is 1 mole, is having a mass of, or has a mass, how much? 24 divided by 11.2 into 22.4. So it is 48 grams. So this 1 mole of the gas weighing 48 grams means its relative molecular mass in grams, if we write it in grams, is equal to 48 grams. So that's my answer to the part B. So a very, very simple question once again. Here's our last question to conclude our session today. A very, very basic set of questions here. So we have a gas cylinder which holds 1 kilogram of hydrogen gas at room temperature and pressure. We have to find out the number of moles of hydrogen present. Meaning 1 kilogram of hydrogen is how many moles? So let's see this. So we know that the molecular mass of hydrogen, right? So molecular mass, MOLE, molecular mass of hydrogen gas is 2 gram, right? Therefore, this 2 gram is nothing but 1 mole of hydrogen, right? So if I tell you that since 2 gram of hydrogen is equal to 1 mole, this implies that 1 kilogram, which is 1000 gram of hydrogen, is equal to 1 by 2 into 1000. That means I have 500 moles of hydrogen in 1 kilogram of hydrogen, right? Now, what about the second part? So the second part is, what weight of CO2 can the cylinder hold under similar conditions of temperature and pressure? So this 500 mole is also the number of moles of carbon dioxide which we are talking about. See, what weight of CO2 can the cylinder hold under similar conditions of temperature and pressure? So the question is about what is the weight of 500 moles of carbon dioxide, right? So 1 mole of carbon dioxide is how many in grams? How many grams? Carbon is 12, oxygen is 16. So 16 2 is 32, which is 44 grams, right? Therefore, 500 moles of carbon dioxide would be how many? How many grams here? So 44 into 500. So we have 5 4 20, 0, 2, 5 was a 20 and 22. I have 2 more zeros here, so many grams. So that's the answer to the second part. Now moving on to the last bit. What do I have here? So the question asks for find the number of molecules of hydrogen in the cylinder under the same conditions of temperature and pressure. अब तो ये हद ही हो गई, right? So what are we looking at here? How many molecules in 500 moles of hydrogen is what the question is. So 1 mole of hydrogen contains how many molecules? Well, it contains 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 molecules. Therefore, 500 moles of hydrogen will contain how many? It will contain 500 into 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 molecules. Alright, so you want me to calculate this? Alright, so 5 2s are 10, 0 1, 5 2s are 10, 11 1 1, so I have a 1 here, 6 5s are 30, I have 2 more zeros here, so 10 to the power of 25 molecules. So ideally I should be writing it as 3.0110 into 10 to the power of 24. So this is the correct answer. So these are the number of molecules in 500 moles of hydrogen. So we have successfully completed so many questions for today. I hope you have loved every minute spent here and you have utilized your time well. See you again with more questions. Thank you for joining in.